Let's get more on this by speaking to Harn Yawnghwe. He is the founder and executive director of the Euro-Burma Office, which promotes the development of democracy in Myanmar. Mr. Yawnghwe, thank you for being with us here on TRT World. Now, we've been hearing from many people in Myanmar, but can you try and give us a sense of the mood in the country a week on from this coup?
I believe, as you have been reporting, people are really angry. People are definitely against a coup. And so we are in a dangerous position where if this is not diffused, it could lead to bloodshed.
And what's stopping there being that happening at the moment? The last time there was a major uprising in 1988, the Saffron Revolution, the monks were involved. Do you see the monks as taking part this time?
I think the problem now is that both sides are at a point of not willing to accept compromise. Tensions are running very high. And Buddhist monks are also seen as being on one side or the other. And it is very important that the international community not take sides. I think a coup is very wrong in a democracy. That needs to be condemned. But at the same time, the complaint of the military needs to be acknowledged and a compromise needs to be found.
Ms. Yawnghwe, you speak of the complaint of the military. Just lay out what that complaint is and what compromise would look like.
The complaint the military lodged was that they said that there was widespread fraud during the elections in November. Now, the Union Election Commission and the government should have clarified whether or not there was fraud. At the very least, they should have launched an investigation. That would have avoided this coup. But Election Commission stonewalled. There was no, excuse me, there was no response to the complaint, so the military moved forward and launched this coup.
I mean, by all accounts, the election was completely free and fair. It was not fraudulent. Isn't it just the case that the military's party just did so badly, this was the only opportunity they had to try and keep some semblance of power?
I think that is the wrong information that most people are reporting, that the elections were completely free and fair. There were many things that were questionable, and the Election Commission was not transparent. And I think that added to the frustration of the military. I'm not saying the military is right, but at the very least, there should be an impartial investigation into whether or not there were fraud.
Yes. Irregularities, sir, of course. No, I understand that, right, sir, and I do wonder, with all of this and with the calls for irregularities in the elections and the lack of sort of transparency, it does seem from an outside observer that this is just more evidence of the dysfunction that's taking place in Myanmar. And it feels like, whereas there are these power games going on at the people in charge, it's the people who really will be suffering.
That's correct, and that is part of the part of what I'm afraid of is that, as you have seen, people are angry, people are frustrated. And if there is no kind of resolution, more and more of them will come out. And we know that the military will shoot. They have always shot at demonstrators. And that is what needs to be avoided. And it is important that the international community, especially the countries that are immediate neighbors of Myanmar, work together. They should not work alone, because that will be seen again as taking sides, but they should work together with ASEAN to see what kind of compromise can be worked out. And it's very important that something is done, because we are in the middle of peace talks between the government and various armed groups. Now, if there's no valid government, if there's no elected government, how can these peace talks continue? And what will happen to the peace talks? And what will happen to the Rohingyas who are now stranded in Bangladesh? They also need to be taken into consideration.
Okay, Mr. Mr. Yawnghwe, Harn Yawnghwe, the founder, the Executive Director of Euro-Burma Office, thank you for your time. I have to leave it there, but thank you for being with us.